Hi guys, welcome to episode 7 of Vox Chatter Podcast, a podcast series where we discuss everything Warhammer 40k related with a focus on fun and casual play. I am Count Hillary, and tonight I am joined by Brett Smith,
Woo!
and Kyle Knox.
Good evening.
Every episode we start by discussing a main topic, usually an aspect of the hobby that we thought would be interesting or fun to talk about. Tonight we'll be discussing collecting armies as projects. And after that, we'll be discussing our favourite moments from our recent games of Warhammer 40k. Then finally, we'll talk briefly about some of the new and upcoming releases, including the latest on the new Thousand Sons and the newly announced codexes. So, let's jump straight in. Tonight's main topic is collecting armies as projects. Now,
see, they might be thinking, well, now what we mean by that is, I've decided to collect this army because I wanted to paint it, or I collected it because I like the models, not, oh my god, this is so good on the tabletop, I can't believe they've made this army list and given these rules, I'm totally collecting them and never painting them.
It's sort of a new idea for me. Like every army I've ever played has been, because up until very recently the main point of a hobby for me was to have models to put on a table and basically roll dice and see if I could win based on the models I had. Whereas I'm currently doing an Emperor's Children army. It's still very much in the fledgling stages, but it's all because I wanted to have the Noise Marine models from Forge World, plug. And I wanted to paint them. So it's the first time I've ever had a project army in the sense of I'm currently building and painting a squad at a time. So I've never played a game with them. And yeah, I'm still buying and building and painting to an army list because I still want to play a game with them. But it's very much a project for me. It's brand new though. Like it's a brand new idea for me.
So it's more collecting an army to a collection or a theme or just because you enjoy certain stuff rather than collecting to an army list. You're not just painting an army to get an army list finished, you're painting your collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're starting off with a collection, yeah.
I'm still very much painting to an army list, personally, because I'm only going to buy models for that army list. It's just some of the things in the list are because the models look cool. So,
Well, such as?
The Helldrake.
Yeah, you've got a particular plan in mind for that as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to lose all sanity, basically. I'm going to try... So, you know, the brass...
Brass? I heard brass.
Yeah, you know the brass edges that you have on the Helldrake, and each section within each brass edge. So you have like individual sections of the wings.
Yeah, so it's all the chaos plating, as it were.
Yeah, I want to blend each one of those sections from purple to white, whilst trying to create some sort of cohesive pattern across each wing.
So you're not just like batch painting a surface colour.
No.
And you're doing that because
it'll look awesome. Like I want it to look almost like some weird. In my head, it looks almost like an angel's wings, an evil fallen angel's wings on a fire-breathing dragon.
Now that does sound cool as a concept, so I can see why that's something you'd want to go for. And you're not just getting a Helldrake painted because you need one for your list. You're including Helldrake in the list because you think they look.
Because I want to give it a go. It's going to be the last thing I paint though, because I think my painting skills need to increase a lot to be able to do it for a start off. And it's probably going to take me until the day I die to get it finished. Or the day it finishes will just coincidentally be the day that I die.
Finally finished my Helldrake, drops dead.
Woo!
Never gets a chance to play on the
Yeah.
But my army isn't based around the Helldrake. It's just the Helldrake is almost.
It's something you want to include because you just really like it.
Yeah, I just think they look cool on a tabletop. It's a freaking dragon.
It is a dragon. I think they've done really well actually representing down its rules in this edition. It's not a plane that's shaped like a dragon.
No.
It actually is a dragon. It like
dragon. Like I can turn up to a Warhammer 40k game and have a dragon. It seems odd to me that you wouldn't want to do it.
I had the option of bringing a giant fire-breathing mechanical demonic dragon. Yes.
I'm going to choose no on that one. Like, why? Why not? I want to put a Defiler in.
I like Defilers. I think they're cool.
I think Soul Grinders look better.
I kind of agree, and I just think it's a shame that so they're one of the units that I think have dropped a little bit for me in Expedition because although I really like them, they're just not efficient.
I tell you what, I can't believe how old the file model is.
Oh yeah, it's what 10 years plus old now.
More. Yeah, it's really old.
It's been going since I was in the hobby, which was when I started.
Yeah.
About 12 years ago.
Long time.
To be fair, when you think of it that way, it's quite a nice model. And you think of it as a 12-year-old.
It was quite a diverse kit as well.
For its time, yeah, it was really like cutting edge.
Yeah, a lot of intricate parts and different pieces. It's one of those ones that I think has suffered a little bit from lacking weapon options these days, though, because it only has what comes on the kit, and the kit was made 12 years ago.
Yeah, so it's not one of those here's loads of stuff to buy.
Whoever uses the Power Scourge on a Defiler, the arm's like the 6 flaily mechanical.
You see, I wouldn't going back to the idea of having a good looking army. I wouldn't because it looks stupid.
So that one looks stupid because it's the one that it looks like those weird head massage things you get. Right?
It's like, come here so that I can relax you into oblivion. What? No, do you know the worst bit about model that looks?
So it fits perfectly in Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
No, because even the Emperor's Children tentacle stuff still looks threatening. Like, it doesn't even.
Whereas by comparison, have you seen the Power Scourge that actually comes on the multi-part Hellbrute kit?
Yeah, that looks nice.
That looks really nice because the tentacles actually look like they're writhing around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're actually sort of twisted about and stuff. Whereas that one, because it was just meant to be we can physically make this on the kit, but the kit isn't very diverse. It's just static claw armors. Now imagine a Defiler that had Defiler-sized like McKendrite tentacle things in the style of the Hellbrute one.
Yeah, but the issue is you can't even swap and change them because the ones on the Hellbrute wouldn't be big enough on the Defiler.
No, but what I'm saying is imagine them in a kit that came
nice.
with that like updated kind of style to it.
That'd look nice. That'd be quite interesting to do.
And that's almost something that I'd be like, ooh, I want to include that in my army just because it looks cool. Right?
I don't like the helmet on it though. I think the helmet's
There's a few different helmet choices, but I think that's why...
So you're basically saying that you wouldn't include a Soul Grinder in your army because it looks cack?
Yeah, basically.
But it could look so cool.
But I actually think the rules for it are probably better than the Helldrakes.
But you prefer the
Helldrake because it's a dragon.
It's a dragon. Well, like for me...
And I don't think they're that bad rules-wise. You still get like a pretty beastly flame weapon of auto hits.
Sometimes I'm sold on something because I prefer to look at it in my army when it's got a bit of a toss-up rules-wise. Yeah. And the example I'm thinking of here is Basilisks in my guard. There's a genuine toss-up and debate between Basilisks and Manticores. Yeah, there's...
Basilisks look a lot cooler.
Yeah, that's my point. There's pros and cons to both.
Manticores. You've got 4 huge rockets on the back.
Yeah, but a Basilisk is
I've got
an
a howitzer.
artillery piece, the howitzer, which can shoot across planets.
I've got a barrel the size of the tank.
This is where the whole idea of a project comes in, because you two collect armies for different reasons. I think you collect... for Guard, you see Guard the same way as I do, almost, of a World War II representation in 40k.
Kind of.
Like
I
went with howitzer. Yeah. You described the Basilisk as a howitzer.
But that's not why I'm not sold on it by the fact that the World War-y like. I'm sold on it by this idea of the shells and gunpowder. This idea of the very ground-pounding, low-tech army guys.
Brett loves the futuristic side, I think, to all of the 40k stuff. Am I right? Which is why you went. You can have a tank with 4 huge missiles on it.
And the fact that my guard army is entirely made up of
Scions.
Well,
yeah, so I mean, like you like the specialist guys. You like the guys that are the SAS, the kitted out, the brilliant, the awesome, the top trained guys, blah blah blah, all the rest of it. I like the ground pounders. I like the grunts.
Every army I've ever done to a point then has been a project in the sense that it's always been to a theme. I'm not one of these people who buys the biggest and best things because
it's the biggest and the best.
Yeah. None of us are really.
No. Like even my Orc Horde list, it wasn't a project list in the sense of it's all grey and will never ever be painted.
It'll get there one day, Kyle.
It won't. I'll never paint 200 Orc models. Like I can't do it. There's so much green.
Your sanity won't allow for it.
No, it's so much green, and no matter how many no matter how many things of 10 I paint, Hillary, there's always more.
Yeah.
But But that was a theme, I suppose, when I was getting it together, because it was just, I want to run the war.
Well, it's things like I look at Brett's Minotaurs and consider them like a project army.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They started off I'm really into Greek mythology and Greek history, and then when it was literally like, hey Brett, have you seen the new Spartan special characters that they've made on Forge World? Like when they first came out all them years ago, I was like, no, what are those? And then when I had those look, I was like, oh my god, that's it, I'm done. And now I have 5,000 to 6,000 points worth of Minotaurs.
But that's when, like, you know, you've gone to the effort of, you've got like legionary plumes on all of them. You've combat weapons or spears and stuff like that. You know,
All the shoulder pads of Forge World or aftermarket Minotaur symbols, they've all got Minotaur doors. They've all got plumes. All my sergeants have capes.
I mean, that's why I see these Emperor's Children as my project army, because I will be buying the Rhino doors to have the Emperor's Children insignia on. Nothing in the army isn't going to be Emperor's Children. I'm actually trying to figure out a way of doing the cultists in the list so they aren't the Chaos cultists.
so there's something else, something a bit more
Emperor's Children-y, but like, because they're all sort of pre-heresy the army, with just enough hint of chaos that you can see that I'm using them as the Chaos Space Marines. I don't know. I feel like we should be more regal.
Well, what I think could work quite well as the cultists for them then would be the Austrian Firstborn.
Are they the ones with the Russian ones?
Yeah, with the big plume hats.
Would they work though?
I think they could work because, like you say, they're all very lavish. Like, you imagine painting them in purple greatcoats and doing like white fur on the hats and stuff like that.
That could be quite cool.
Because they've got all the heirloom weapons, so they've got all like fancy looking las guns with like stocks.
That's the issue. It needs to be auto guns.
Who cares? Like, a las gun has the exact same profile as an auto gun.
Okay.
And auto guns basically don't exist on any model in the 40k universe except for cultists.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, yeah, you might want to play around with some heads a little bit.
I need 30 of them. So it would literally just be rinse and repeat. Or maybe even just Empire.
Well, and just have them in really like puffy clothes.
Yeah.
Like in old timey.
Old-timey, almost serf clothes. Because I toyed with the idea of the Old Batonia peasants.
Yeah, wearing like greatcoats.
Mm.
That doesn't look lavish enough to me though to say Slanesh.
Yeah, that's true. I still need to say Slanesh, don't we?
Or you go Katchans because they're all half naked.
No, because that's not the sort of Slanesh. You know that's not the sort of Slanesh I'm going for. I'm not going
You go for ornate Slanesh.
Yeah, ornate. The excess is the ornateness of
The most ornate looking humans you'll get will be of Austrian Firstborn. I don't think you'll get anything that's a non-marine that will be as ornate. So one thing that I consider to be like a project is like my ongoing Demons collection. Because so we were talking earlier about like collecting a Space Marines chapter, and how really it's best to try and keep your collection to one chapter.
Yeah.
So that you don't feel like you're redoing stuff, rebuying things or whatever. And that's because you're expanding the collection as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus you can always do bigger games, or when editions change, you've got stuff which you can try out rather than just it all of a sudden all becoming irrelevant.
I love playing with my demons because I have almost everything in the range to some extent, and I've been using it on and off in different ways over the editions. I'm looking forward to when we go through to Armour World in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to finally pick up some of the Plague Toads to use as Beasts of Nurgle. I've wanted them for ages. I don't currently have an army list I intend to use them in. I just really like those Plague Toads, and I really like the idea of having a unit of Beasts of Nurgle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get them, I'm going to paint them, I'm going to play with them. I don't know exactly in what quantity or what army list at the moment. But I want to add them to my units.
Nurgle with your Death Guard?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I've looked at how I'm going to get my god fix, like on each of the gods, because no matter what I do with my army list, I come round to the conclusion that the core of my demon army wants to be Zinch and Con.
Yeah.
That just seems to be every sort of natural route my lists take.
And why is that? Just because you generically like them gods more, or
No, it comes down to two things. One, the deep strike potential.
one does shooting, one does combat.
Yeah.
Sort of, that kind of works together. It comes down to this. The deep strike potential of the army is something that's very key to it now. Like, it is. That's the thing I always felt it was missing, and now it's got it with the new stratagem. But if you look at any of the gods, the best ones to do it with are Khorne. Because he gets to reroll charges.
There's no point with Sinesh really, because they're quick enough to get them out.
Yeah, Sinesh does the same thing that
For
Khorne
me,
does.
if you're doing a combat army that's got to run across the field, Slanesh. If you're doing a combat army you want to drop in, it's Khorne.
Yeah. And
If you want a block of resilience, you take Nurgle. If you want some damage output at range, it's Zinch. That's pretty much
that's the roles of those gods.
Yeah.
It is. I agree. Now, for me, because I want dropping in assault stuff, Khorne wins out over Sinesh because of the charge reroll. Otherwise, Sinesh is just doing the same thing as I'm just going about it a slightly different way. Ooh, I'll rend you to death and use weight of attacks as opposed to I'll use high strength power weapon attacks.
Yeah.
I'm still killing you in roughly the same quantities, but Khorne's slightly more reliable at getting those charges. On the deep strike. So fine, Khorne wins out in that case. Then it depends on what the rest of your army wants to be doing. Because of the locust system, where you want to be collecting, you want to use forces of a single god in a detachment, you end up basically having two detachments, so you've more or less got two gods all the time. So does your other half, is it going to be more combat? Is it just going to be Sinesh that's running across the table to join in the deep striking combat that the Khorne's doing? Or is it going to be resilient and doing nothing but not dying, and then all your damage output is just in your Alpha Strike Khorne demons? And then if that gets dealt with, you've got no real damage output. Zinch I like because it's got that little bit of inbuilt resilience with the 4-up inbutton, and the fact that it actually has range potential. Khorne can be murdering things in combat while Zinch is putting down a bit of a firestorm. But my point is that, so I look at those two gods and go, right, well I feel like Khorne and Zinch is going to be where I'm at with my my core demon army, and then I've got all my Nurgle stuff, and I do enjoy my Nurgle stuff, but I feel like it's going to work best played with my Death Guard, and that gives me a use to my Death Guard as well then.
Yeah.
I've always liked the idea of having a god dedicated Chaos Marine force mixed with that god's demons.
Yeah.
I've missed being able to truly do that since the days of the 4-fed Chaos Codex.
Yeah, before Demons had their own codex, wasn't it? It was the last time you could do it, really.
I don't feel there's ever been another time since when it's been so neatly integrated. Yeah, the ally system of 6th edition kind of let you do it a little bit, but they didn't really feel like they played together very well.
It was just two armies that you put together.
Yeah. In the same way, they only felt as unified as you could do by playing Tau and Marines in that same ally system. It's kind of like, okay, I get it, but yeah. Whereas now I really like the idea of putting together a full Death Guard army with its Nurgle demons in support, and that feels like that'd be a really nice little project army to work on.
Yeah.
It's not that I particularly think that Death Guard force is going to be absolutely amazing on the tabletop. Yeah. It's not because I think, this is so broken, I want to use this thing. But I like the idea of having that army, of collecting it, painting it, and playing with it, regardless of how well it performs.
Yeah, for me at the minute it's my Minotaurs. I'm looking forward to the Tau coming out, because they've just been announced.
Yeah.
But when the Tau come out, I'm probably going to have a lot to sort out with them. Like sorting the weapon systems out, sorting the Devilfish out and stuff like that, and respraying them up and stuff like that. So, that's going to be a big project in itself. I had that with my Guard recently. So, I'd been collecting my Guard pre-8th edition, and they were just my fun army of I wanted something a bit of a change, something that doesn't play like any of my others, so I had a Guard army.
Then 8th edition came out and went, look how good Guard is.
It meant he actually wanted to win some games with Warhammer.
Not back in my Guard in 7th Ed.
No, 7th Ed.
That's what I'm saying. I got the army back in 7th Ed because I just liked the idea of having a bit of a different army.
Yeah.
Someone that didn't play anything like my others. I wanted a bit of a loyalist army that just wasn't Marines.
And Ape came along and gave you one of the
Yeah.
best armies.
And then all of a sudden, by coincidence, Ape turned my army into one of the best armies around. I'm like, yay, this is awesome. But, like, at no point really do I feel like I restarted my guard or set to a certain list or anything like that. But I had a big, couple of weeks where all I was doing was I was re-kitting models out, reassigning guys to squads. I was sort of restructuring into the army that I wanted.
Yeah,
And that wasn't like going out and buying a new army. I was just spending a bit of project time to really improve and update my guard. And
Whereas on the opposite scale to that,
yeah, go on.
the reason I'm not excited about the Dark Eldar release, despite having a Dark Eldar force, is it wouldn't be a case of reassigning models and things. I feel like when the Codex gets released, I'm going to have to start a whole new army again.
I kind of feel like that with my Dark Eldar. It's been years since I've ever played with them, and I've sort of reached a point now where I think when I do inevitably get back around to playing them again, I'm going to start from scratch.
But
I'm not going to bother trying to recover models.
Yeah, from that side, that project, if you will, of a new Dark Eldar army doesn't really excite me at the minute. So, I mean, whilst project armies are good and they're fun and it's definitely something I'm enjoying that I'm getting into, there's still very much a side of when it's a project for the sake of having a project, is it worth it?
I can tell you one that sort of killed the enthusiasm for me a little bit was when 8th rolled around and he took away my looted wagons from Orcs. Because I love my all my looted wagons and my Death Skulls, all made out of various Imperial vehicles. I absolutely love them. At the moment, there's no actual rules for playing with looted vehicles. At the moment, the Leman Russes in my Death Skulls are basically treated as battle wagons.
Yeah.
I think you'll get a looted tank, but the weapon options you'll be able to give it will be like battle cannon or las cannons. You'll almost be able to give it like the Imperial weapon systems.
I don't think you'll get that.
Not that much so, but like you'll get like a battle cannon gun that you can have in it, and then like you'll be able to give it a battle cannon and like 3 heavy bolters, which is pretty much Leman Russ. That's what I meant by that. You'll be able to almost the weapon systems will be just about like.
That's kind of what it was. So mine were all built with a kill cannon and 3 big shooters. I physically built them off the chassis with Leman Russ, and that was the idea. A kill cannon was basically a battle cannon, and big shooters are basically heavy bolters.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, like I'm looking forward to getting around to really working on my orcs because I love the scrappiness of them and how liquid everything is.
Yeah.
But until I get the codex, it doesn't seem worth the effort. So I'm concentrating on my guard at the moment.
Again, it goes back to that Codex Armies.
Yeah, it's like I'm not really interested in my orcs at the minute until the codex is announced because I don't know, they're just not competitive anymore. They were really good when all armies were indexed.
When all armies got reset.
And then they just instantly. And it's not that there's no point playing an army because it's not competitive, but they've gone back to that point of they're so uncompetitive.
Yeah.
You can't do anything with them.
It feels a little bit of like, oh.
I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, sorry, you definitely can do things with orcs. I can't do what I want to do with orcs.
Yeah, I think that's more the issue, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I could have an awesome orc army if I went out and bought like a Gorkanaut and then bought loads of Storm Boys and...
Well, speaking about, your and my continued love for orcs and the continued disregard they get from Games Workshop.
Boo.
We had a discussion about this with someone else the other day, didn't we? And, I basically think orcs are going to be one of them armies which Games Workshop might throw some love back into and give you a load of new models.
You know what I think orcs are primed for? I think they're in for a similar amount of love that Necrons got last time around when they really breathed some life back into the army. And when, here's the dynasties, here's special characters, here's actually some lore to them. Like the jump they went from being just the skeleton warriors led by the Catan to the current iteration of Necrons.
I think they need to put a bit more lore into them rather than...
Is this orcs?
Yeah, this is orcs.
Yeah, I agree.
Orcs hit things. It's like, there's actually no background to orcs. You have Armageddon.
That's pretty much the only stuff that's involved.
And from Armageddon you have Ghazghkull Fracker. That's about it.
So, Every episode, we encourage our listeners to leave comments on the main topic or to ask questions about the hobby. And we always enjoy hearing from you guys. And last month, we were left our first question by a regular listener. And it's sort of on theme.
We're going to ignore that question.
No, not at all. We're going to address it right now. Because, so like I said, just saying about the orcs, how, you know, you and me are both long-time fans of them, and we've got collections we've had for a long time, but it just feels like they never quite get the love they need to sort of really break out on the table and be your favourite army.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Well, Dawson 360 asked us 2 questions on the last podcast. He asked us, do you have any models that you consistently use, even though they are pretty terrible on the tabletop, but you still use it because of all the time and money you've put into it?
So the answer to that one for me would be I have roughly 200 models that I consistently use, but aren't very good on the tabletop, in the form of the classic Orc Horde, 180 Orc Boys, backed up by Knobs and War Bosses.
You literally played the Orc War because you love it.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I love the idea of... Because, the reason I love the Orc War and the Orc Horde is in every story you read about the Orcs where they're involved, it isn't, oh no, the Orcs coming over a hill with 3 Gorkanauts, like whatever will we do. It's...
Here comes the Wrath of Khan. You never actually hear about the Wrath of Khan in the narrative.
No, you hear, in the narrative, and what drew me into it fluff-wise, was... You have 5 Space Marines fighting off 10,000 orcs, so why not replicate that on the table?
The only problem with that is though you never win a game. Because narratively the Marines don't lose the 5,000 orcs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but narratively...
Unless it's the Crimson Fists, in which case they always seem to lose because they're always getting absolutely murdered by
narratively though, Marines, like if you're going off narratively, Marines don't lose against anything. We're not getting into the argument of Marines should
they do.
as good on the tabletop as they are in the books. Because
Marines do lose in the to other armies.
Yeah, but never in the books. But like, I always remember there's a short story, and it's actually like one of those ones that's a couple of paragraphs. That are like an anecdotal story, again with the codexes. And it was in the Orc one from years ago. Basically, it's an Imperial Guard commander, and for like a whole 3-4 paragraphs, he's surveying his Imperial forces they brought along, and he's basically going like, we've brought this many companies, this many platoons, this many Titans, this many tanks, this armoured column, this, and this. It's like basically a logistics reel of everything the Imperial forces have brought to fight these orcs. And he turns around, he looks into the distance, and he brings it, and he's like got his binoculars up, and he's looking at the Orc Horde across the valley from him. And he just looks across the constant sea of green, and he just thinks to himself, I hope we brought enough.
I just love it. I mean, the one thing that I do like at the minute of how they act on the tabletop is you cannot make my orcs run away. My orcs don't turn and run until at a push, probably turn 5. Because you just don't, because of how they've done the leadership buffs, and I think that's brilliant. I get to now put 180 orcs on the table and say, kill me before I get there.
And for me, the ones that I use are my looted wagons for my orcs. So I've got these looted wagons built up out of Lehman Russes and Orc trucks, so they've got like an extended chassis on the back, so it's kind of like a pickup truck Lehman Russ. And I love the damn things, but right now they don't have any rules to represent them, which is the unfortunate thing. So I use them as battle wagons.
It's not the same though, is it?
No, it's not the same, because at the end of the day as well, the battle wagons aren't great. Not for how I'm wanting to play my army.
They're not great in general, if I'm entirely honest. They're the typical orc thing of, here's my tough tank, it's not quite tough enough.
What it actually is it's an expensive rhino, because all it does is achieve the same battlefield role as a rhino.
Yeah, so I can put guns on it, but all gunned by orcs.
Who takes rhinos now? You've got Razorbacks.
Well, the Razorbacks still do more than the battle wagon.
Yeah, they are.
Well, yeah, that's true. They're a lot more effective than a battle wagon.
Because
the battle wagon is again gunned by orcs.
But there's no way I am going to ever roll up with my orcs to battle and not include at least 2 of those looted wagons. Because I love those things. I love the time I spent converting them. I love how they play on the battlefield based on whatever they currently are, in that edition. Even if they're not the greatest in the world. The Gorkanaut, is another good example where it dies every single game. I think in the entire game time I've had it, it's been into combat twice. It's absolutely murked the thing it's hit,
Yeah.
and then died the following turn.
One hit that I aspect.
It picked
My
up
autark.
Yeah, it picked up your own autark once and just went, you know what, all 18 attacks and that one autark. Because even when it's meant to be the sweeping strike, it was still extra 6, so it was only on 2s, so I didn't need to do like a crushing blow. So it's like, all 18 attacks and that autark. Oh, look, he's super dead.
The autark's not getting up. The autark doesn't even know where he is.
Yeah.
Oh, but the autark ran up to the Gorkanaut, so the Gorkanaut only moved an inch.
Mm.
And then the Gorkanaut got blown apart next turn by fire prisms. As it does.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. Whilst the thing is, my argument with orcs is always, I know that they are a combat army, right? So I'm never going to make them good at shooting.
Mm.
What I don't overly understand is why even the specialised gun troops are still hitting on 5s.
Yeah, it's just that racial thing in it, but that's the kind of thing that holds the army back.
The one that gets me is
The strategy.
like Tau with the hammerheads. Tau hit on 4s, everyone knows Tau hit on 4s, and hammerhead hits on a 3.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, I don't get
But
that.
why don't my orc looters hit on a 4?
4, but something, yeah.
But what gets me is, then they brought out that stratagem in chapter approved, which is,
The
hey,
Monaco one.
for 50% of your success rate with an orc shooting attack, because every time I hit with a 6, which is,
It's 50% of your hit rate.
50% of my hit rate, I don't then get an extra hit. What I get is another chance to roll a 5+.
So, yeah, you need to get 3 additional shots in order to land 1 additional hit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it just seems underwhelming compared to what other people get.
So what's the oldest model that you have that's still in use, like in service? One that's
Oldest?
Yeah, it's like because that's the sort of thing of, again, like you've had it for that long, you still play with it.
My Dark Eldar Archon. Second model I ever bought, because Dark Eldar were my first ever army. Which actually fits into a thing of is appalling on the tabletop as well at the minute.
Yeah, you see that thing where it's like, yeah, I've got my Archons, but what do they actually do?
Yeah, so I have 3 of them, so let's turn them into a Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, that's my oldest one, my Dark Eldar Archon. I bought the Getting Started kit for Dark Eldar back 12 years ago when I started in the hobby. And then I bought an Archon to lead them.
I'm trying to think what like my oldest.
Oldest
like in-service model that still sees use.
That's the oldest one that I bought. The oldest actual in-service one was I picked up a retro, at the time, knob model. And that still sees use a little bit. Oh no, but that must be a model from at least 15 years ago.
I mean, I've got the original Changeling from when he first came out.
Oh, that's an old one.
Well, there's a new Changeling model now. He's a special character that's got a new model.
That's cool.
Since so the Changeling was one of the ones that came with the original release of the new Demon Codex. I say new Demon Codex, like when they first got their codex in the new edition. In the first time they got their standalone codex.
Oh, so 5th?
Something like that.
It was a while ago, wasn't it?
I mean, I feel sorry for James when I see him rock up with his Abaddon model.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't do a new Abaddon model.
It's a classic, apparently.
Yeah.
I prefer all the conversions you've seen made out of Golem.
It's old, it doesn't mean it's good.
Well, I'm trying to think
what you
like
think,
what mine is.
Oh, you actually have that you still... Well, I've said before, typically, your whole tactical marine army,
Yeah, I didn't actually realise like how old that army is.
you've had it since the days of the Banner of Devastation for Dark Angels.
And before that, I think it's 8 years ago, easy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I've had my Space Marine army about 8 years.
Wow.
But like the army...
And then the longest serving model in that would probably be like a Stellian Morlock.
Yeah, because you got him to sort of like feature as leading the army. But like your whole tactical marine force pretty much comes under the category of you play with it because you've invested so much time and effort into it. Like,
Yeah.
you've openly said yourself that you love your Primarchs Marines, you love how they play as an army, but it feels so bad to just write off your 200 plus power armoured guy, like normal Marines.
100 and... Yeah, there's a lot of them.
And I get it. I totally get why that's just like a bummer, where it's just like, oh.
Well, I mean, I played you with him earlier today, and
That did not go well. Yeah, it felt like the old days of getting gunned down.
It felt like the old days of playing Brett.
Yeah.
What, you mean there was a banner in my army and you nearly got tabled?
Yep, just getting gunned apart before even getting into combat. As happens when I just, like, drop in demons piecemeal and they get shot bit by bit by bit. Yeah. I swear, these days I feel like my demon army is the one which I insist on still trying to play with because I've invested so much time and effort into it. And at the end of the day, I really like it. I like my demons, I do.
But it just doesn't work.
Yeah, but no matter what I try...
It just doesn't work!
7th edition, it was just starting to fall apart towards the end. 8th edition, it clearly didn't have legs when its index.
Oh no, yeah, its index, it was amazing how it just did not work.
And I get that there's this argument of, well, it's encouraged that they're a component faction to another army, like you take it your Marines, but I don't collect an army for it to be part of another army.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
It's not like you go, ooh, I really like Ultramarines. Yeah, but Ultramarines don't work unless you play them with Guard.
Yeah,
So-
I don't like that. The fact that the potential bringing out armies to...
Boost other armies.
Like, custodes.
Yeah.
Mr. Banner that adds a custom force field to all Imperial units.
Yeah, I don't know,
I understand that narratively you see it, it's not often that Imperial forces take to the battlefield by themselves.
It's the Imperium versus everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Imperium versus the world, and you see all these Imperial soup lists that are just like mixes of all sorts of Imperial units, but...
To me, that doesn't feel right.
Same.
And that's probably from the days of old, but, that's probably a different topic for a different day.
Yeah, should Imperial soup be a thing? Should soup be a thing? Or should armies, just
Be
be
vanilla.
armies?
That is definitely another topic for another day.
Well, rounding back around to Dawson 360's other question. He also asked us, what is your least favourite model you owned or that GW has ever made?
I don't own it anymore because I hated it so much I got rid of it. I used to... Do you remember the old metal Taloses?
I remember the old Talos.
Oh, the old Taloses, oh my god, yeah.
You see, I actually think quite nice models.
I liked the Talos. I liked the
I
Scorpion.
liked the Talos.
I didn't like the change from the evil Scorpion to the weird
no.
machine-y
Yeah,
thing.
evil Scorpion. Brilliant. Why on earth would you make the metal body so heavy and make me attach very spindly arms via tiny little joints? I don't think I ever got those models out of a box and didn't have to reassemble them before playing.
The one that got me was the old Dark Eldar Raider. The thing that was just impossible to store in a box.
Well, it was like a dart, wasn't it?
I mean,
Impossible
for
to
me,
once it never survived the trip anywhere.
for me, models that I don't like, I don't own, would like to own, but because the models are that shocking, I won't. And this is a range of models, are the Phoenix Lords.
Really?
They're that outdated, they sit with Abaddon, where they're that outdated and that static and haven't been brought in line with the new Aspect Warriors that they've done.
Yeah.
I don't like them like the Scorpion, Striking Scorpion one, Karanas, Jazar, Fugan, they're all screaming. They could be so dynamically cool models and they're just stuck back in the 90s.
Yeah, they are old.
Well, look at the update that Lilith Hesperix got, where she went from being the very sort of static, straight posed models, pointing a trident and a whip above her head, to the one where she's stood stretched over like a piece of Eldar ruins with hair whipped out behind her.
What, is that Lilith?
Daggers.
Yeah, that's Lily.
That's Lilith. So do you remember the...
That what? Yeah.
The one where she's got the daggers
Right,
in front of her
Wow.
and behind her.
Yeah.
That's the Lilith. Whereas the old Lilith model was the one who was like face mask, like Batman style half mask,
Yeah.
and trident pointed out. And
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Do you remember Cruella?
As a model, no. Which was her model again?
I'm sure she had a model. She literally stood there with a huge, just weird looking claw up.
I don't remember that one.
I'm sure I've seen it. Maybe it was a conversion,
But like that was the kind of brilliant update on a new model. Look at Cypher. They changed from old Cypher to new Cypher.
oh, new Cypher's so nice.
Yeah, new Cypher's so nice.
They were.
I mean, I didn't massively dislike old Cypher.
No, I didn't either. But then, like, you compare it to new Cypher, and it's like that's so much cooler. The first one, nothing wrong with it, but it's just the new one is so much nicer. I love the real knight errant style armor. I love the shoulder pads.
Every new thing is going to be nicer because they're using better methods.
Well, like, so which ones do we think were actually bad models? Bad ones that were ever made, like just that looked.
I don't like the new Nurgle stuff at the minute. Some of the no, the new bug-eyed Nurgle stuff. They seem to almost be going cartoony with it. So maybe that's how they're painting it. But I'm like, yeah, that's how they're painting it to show off the brand, and they're like giving them like almost looks like here's this Grim 40k model, and then I had a googly eyes.
Yeah, that is how they're painting it though, because if you look online, other people have painted them a lot darker and they look a lot different and better.
I have to admit, I'm not actually a massive fan of the Blight Lord Terminators because of that exact thing. I don't like the one who's got the fly head and the fly guts, like his belly's all like extended in like fly carapace. I don't really like that one.
What's that new one? Them new slug things where you get one kit and they all have to have the right armour.
The new Beast of Nurgle model.
Like they're all doing Michael Jackson sort of Thriller. They got all in the same arm movement.
Nah, I don't like the new Beast of Nurgle. That's why I'm still going to be in the Plague Toads and Forge World because they look lovely. But like I do like the new power armored Death Guard because they've got.
Oh my god, they are probably the sexiest models Games Workshop's done in.
They're amazing. They
Ironically, probably not what we were going for.
Well, they've got yeah. Let's hope they get them that sexy for the Noise Marines.
Ooh.
I mean, Custo models.
Apparently they're meant to be huge. I've not actually seen one built up in person, but like they're even bigger than you expect them to be.
I've seen the intro box ones, but they're like the bikers are like vehicle size.
Really?
They're like a land speeder, basically.
The like mini raiders.
We're saying that because we're going to have to sell them in such small box sets, we have to be big, don't we? Otherwise, we don't want to buy them.
Although I can tell you as well, I know exactly which models I think are genuinely the worst ones they've ever made.
Go on.
And I don't know how these things ever got approved for production. But do you remember the Battle for Medusa, Chaos Possessed?
Yes!
Yes, I do. Oh god, I forgot about them because I didn't ever want to think of them again.
The metal blister pack box.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I was as soon as you said
do
it.
you know what? Yeah, they're the worst models.
The guy that had the regular like Freakazoid head.
That's it. That's your answer. That's the worst model ever made.
The claws that were cupped above and below his head, like he was doing the sort of weird mask face stretchy thing.
What was that about? What was that about?
Then there was the guy that had the
the Zoidberg guy.
The two massive crab claws.
Zoidberg guy.
Then there was also the stupid one who was like his head back yelling, but he had bare arms, but his arms just ended in like flesh mauls. They were just weird little blocks of like spiky balls on the ends of his arms. They were terrible. I honestly don't know how those ever got past quality control.
Because it wasn't even at a time where like that was the sort of standard they were doing them to. Like that was just.
They looked like the Looney Tunes. Yeah,
they did.
They looked like if you took the what would they call the Insanimaniacs or whatever they were. Animaniacs, that was it. If you took the Animaniacs and put them in power armor.
Yeah, they weren't great, were they?
They looked ridiculous. I honestly think someone was trying to push the boundaries before they quit their job, like seeing how badly they could design a model and get it approved.
Maybe that's why I'm always, everyone goes, I'll never have possessed. Maybe.
No, but that's where it all came from.
It all stems from. Like, it's just people still being like, I'll put them in my army. Like, they could be the ultimate game winner, and I'm just not putting them in. Like, I will be lost.
And then, special mention, not so much a terrible model. He was actually quite nice, but it was weird.
Go on, man.
Do you ever remember Primarine?
Primarine?
Yeah. The Tyranid war veteran who was fat. The Ultramarine. He was the guy that had the bolt slung under one arm. He was throwing a grenade.
Yes, I liked
And
him.
he had a bulge.
Yeah, his gut was huge.
Yeah.
Because of
Primarine,
because of the pose we'd put him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because of the
Primarine.
pose they put him in, because his arms were both like outstretched
But
in different directions.
I really
He was
liked
just
him,
huge.
but yeah, he looked really fat.
It was weird. He looks like a fat marine, which was just something you didn't see.
Yeah. But no, I think if we put it to a vote,
the
the worst
old
models
metal
ever
kids.
made.
Possessed.
The old Chaos Metal Possessed.
They take it hands down.
Wow. Like leagues above as well. They are given the booby prize.
So kudos to whoever designed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, please quit.
Please
your day
quit. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you have a different job.
Hopefully they were, or you've
Like-
learned your lesson and you now... This is when it turns out that that guy who designed them Possessed has now gone on to doing all the new Death Guard and like Custodes.
Yeah,
And it's like, guys, that was my first ever unit, I'm sorry.
that was the piece where they got the intern.
Yeah, and then that was like... They now haunt me forever and a day. Yeah, well done, you made them really nice. Well done, you made them sexy Nurgle models, but remember them Possessed. Oh.
So yeah, thanks to Dawson360 for leaving us that comment and giving us some interesting stuff to talk about. If you've got any more interesting questions or thoughts for us, definitely don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know. We'll happily talk about them on the show. So moving on, we'll move on to our next segment, which is the favourite moments. So every episode we like to look back at our recent games of 40k and share some of our favourite moments. Those that were particularly memorable, hilarious, or just super tense.
Well, my favourite moment would be
Cheating
playing
with cheat face.
Kyle's Orcs.
Cheating with cheat face.
No, I never cheated.
You must have cheated.
No, it was the dice.
It's
The
unnatural.
dice
It's
gods
unnatural.
favoured me, and the Emperor was with my Dreadnought. So we're playing Minotaurs versus Orcs, and I've got a Dreadnought who's managed to push through the line of Orcs, and he's at the back looking at the command section of the Orcs. So the Orcs are like, right, we're not having any of that, we're going to take that Dreadnought on. So they, what is it, a Pain Boy?
The Pain Boy went in as a sacrificial unit on the off chance that your Overwatch killed him. He was then followed in by a custom force field wielding Big Mech.
And then
in case
followed
you
by...
got really lucky and hit him with another.
And then there was another, and then it was
and
the
there was a
Orc,
weird boy.
a weird.
Weird boy and War Boss. Oh no, because he killed 3, didn't he? Not 4.
So then it was the Warboss, yeah.
Warboss, yeah.
So yeah, the Pain Boy goes in. So right, Overwatch with my Dreadnought. One las cannon hit. One las cannon wound.
Killed him.
Rolled to wound. Got a 1, I think. Used a command reroll. Rerolled it. Died.
Yeah.
Then it was the. Who was it? The second guy going in. The custom Met guy.
Was a mech.
Yeah. So he charged. Did I get 1 or 2 las cannon hits? 2 on
He
it.
got 2 on the mech.
Yeah, so double 6, 2 hits, got some... I used a Salamander Chopper tactic, so I got to re-roll, and then double wound, he died, and then the War Boss came in, and I got 6 to hit, wounded him normally, then rolled a 6 on my wounds, and just splattered all 3 on Overwatch.
That means Brett rolled 6 dice up to hit, and rolled 5 6s.
4 6s.
No, 5. You rolled 5 6s.
Oh, I got double hit on the War Boss, didn't I? Yeah, sorry.
You rolled 5 6s. But if we're going to add up how many 6s he rolled in total, Brett rolled 10 dice, and Brett rolled 8 6s. No, out of 10 dice you rolled. She rolled a 6 on another one of her characters, so you rolled 7 6s out of 10.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other Dreadnought earlier, then when you had the opportunity to charge him, his last cannon hit. But I just failed to wound. I got double 1 though to wound
That
though.
shouldn't have happened because of maths.
Yeah, math says that should
Like, maths says that doesn't happen. Like,
But the Emperor.
The Emperor says it does.
But yeah, no, I'm not, I never get bitter about losing. When I sit there and I
That was
watch...
close.
That were close. When I sit there and I watch somebody roll 5 6s on... Not even like rolling them together either, it was the fact they were all individual Overwatch rolls. And he just went dead, dead, dead. It's like, oh.
It was that bad that I had to sort of like, I went up and just hugged him and went, I'm sorry, Kyle.
Understandable.
This is the same Dreadnought, I believe, that has previously killed Samael and Belial.
Yeah, it is.
And the ancient of the first company, yeah, it would also be the exact same dreadnought.
But then, Kyle, in that same game, you had your favourite moment, did you not?
Yeah, mine was more cinematic than like actual.
Yeah, it was cool.
Like rules wise, so to sort of explain it, we tend to play very heavy terrain boards. Just
They look nice.
yeah,
don't they?
yeah, like we use all of the modulated sort of Necromunda kits, don't we?
A lot of the industrial terrain we've got now recently, and it's brilliant.
Yeah,
We like having a nice big cinematic theme table full of stuff, not just like a very sparse open firing field.
yeah. So we deployed with scenery, so that we had a sort of large quarter built up as almost a mechanicum section. So it had loads of walkways, gantries running about. Now it also meant there was sort of a gap between these things on floor level. Brett ended up having 5 Primaris Marines stood on his side of the gap. And I obviously, as an Orc Horde player, had gone with the intention of getting these 5 Primaris Marines.
Yeah, just run at them.
Which meant, through sort of this small gap, if you went round to eye level, as in true line of sight level, you looked through this gap and all you saw was 5 gold armoured Primaris Marines staring into what just a sea of orcs, and then right at the very back of them was the dreadnought with an orc war boss in eyesight as well at the time, and it did look amazing. It looked like the hot gates. We nicknamed it the orc gates, didn't we?
And you know what the funny thing was though with that situation
was though, the orcs took the hot gates.
Yeah, but they didn't take it off the 5 Primus Marines that were stood there originally, right? Them Primus Marines managed to, I think only like 2 died.
Yeah, the orcs back. It's because because it was a hot gate scenario, I couldn't get enough in combat with you.
Yeah, and then them Primus Marines backed off, and then this other squad of Primus Marines like, yeah, we'll charge in, we'll hold them back, charged in, or just got massacred.
Yeah.
So literally charged into the Orcs,
and
then the Orcs just went, no, killed them all. Then the Orcs charged the original squad that was back in and put them down to the sergeant. So it was like, okay, so one squad's rate tough for some reason, and the other squad was just like, I'm bound to die.
But it was very much like the hot gates had fallen at that point. But no, it was cinematically and to look at. It's
it
probably
was
one
good.
of the best looking scenes I've had on a Warhammer board. It was brilliant.
And then I definitely know what my most recent favourite moment was. It has to be the first time I brought the Bloodthirster to bear in the new Codex.
And you got to see its pure devastating power.
Yes, it was
The
fun.
power.
That Bloodthirster landed, it was playing against Lewis's Admech, and it got a clear charge on a Doomcrawler with its fancy quantum laser. So it was a fully unwounded Doomcrawler, the reasonable tanks, got like a natural invuln all the time, it's got sort of like 14 wounds or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty hard and it's take down, to be fair.
It's essentially a Predator with an invuln save.
Yeah.
It's sort of what it is. The Bloodthirster hit it, and in the first round of combat, it swung for 7 attacks and landed 11 hits.
That's ridiculous.
Because of its Death Incarnate roll.
Yeah, because of its thing of like, I just keep hitting you.
Any 6s it rolls to hit, inflict 2 hits, not 1. And that thing's armed with a Melter Axe.
Oh, you give it the axe, don't you? Like 8
Yeah, the Great Axe.
Stupid.
Well, it's not that AP minus stupid, it's only minus...
No, it's damage. It's damage 2d6, pick the highest.
Yeah, that's what it does.
So it's AP minus 4.
I hit it 11 times, wounded it 11 times, and did 2d6 pick the highest 11 times to it.
You're not nice.
Sorry, I apologise. I only got
Okay.
9 wounds on it because it passed 2 of its invuns. But the damage converted into 30 damage in 1 round of combat for the Bloodthirster. It just carved it in 2.
Not nice.
It just landed on...
Yeah, that'll do it.
It dropped out of the warp, landed on the 1 tank he had, and just ripped it in half. Absolutely obliterated it.
And then proceeded to die.
You say it proceeded to die. The next turn, his entire army spent turning around shooting at it.
Yeah, it was pretty much like Vengeance, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like Vengeance.
He had to spend an entire game turn of shooting it and combat. He had to charge it as well to take it down, which meant that the rest of my army was untouched for an entire turn. Like, as a
to me,
Mountain
that says
Aztec
it did
army.
its job.
Yeah, it did its job. It killed a big important weapon in his army, so it removed an asset, and it drew an entire turns worth of army fire.
Yeah, it did its job.
It did its job. It would have been nice to get to swing with it twice. So, each month there are a number of new and upcoming releases from Games Workshop, and we like to take a look at some of them and discuss our thoughts on them. So, this month, since the last podcast, we talked a little bit about the Custodes last episode, but there's a few new things that have been announced since. So, we've got a bit of info on the Thousand Sons, so we're going to talk about them.
Yeah, I've been reading into them quite a bit this week, really.
I really like the inclusion of the Mutilith Vortex Beast.
That's one of the things I haven't read up too much on, because it's a big thing, and I don't tend to do big things, but I know what you mean. It's it just generates buffs.
It does.
Buffs.
Basically, it's a typical sort of like Carnifex style stat line monstery thing.
Yeah.
Not a huge one,
I've
but not
heard
a
it's
small
quite
one.
good in combat.
Well, yeah, it's in the way that a Carnifex is good in combat. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a Trigon or a Morlock or a Hive Tyrant, but it's still something that's going to do damage.
Yeah.
But the main thing from the Mutilith Warp Beast is it's got a random buff table where there's like a selection of things where you get either like pluses to hit in combat or pluses to AP in combat, or basically it smites something in the shooting phase.
Yeah.
Or it does like a mortal wound to every enemy unit within like 9 inches of it and stuff like that. It's got a bunch of things it does. And what you can do when you use it each turn is you can either pick one ability off the table of your choice and just apply it.
Yeah.
Or you can
Randomly roll.
randomly roll, but then you get to roll twice and get 2 abilities.
Ooh, so they've actually given you a...
There's an incentive.
So you can
to roll.
pick one or have 2.
2 randomly determined ones, yeah. When it gets to half wounds,
Careful, 'cause that's literally just stuck on.
when it gets to like under half wounds, it doubles the range of all its aura effects from that ability, because all the warp energy is escaping
that's
more
cool.
because it's dying.
Yeah.
So you just need to hammer it in one turn.
Yeah, basically. You've also then got things
There's loads
like-
of mortal wounds as well, doesn't it, when it explodes?
Yeah, well, again, Zinch is one of these ones that's a bit heavier than mortal wounds because it's about doling them out because
Yeah.
it's changing and mutating things.
Have you seen the new stratagem you can do?
The flesh
with
change.
with the sorcerer. For one command point, you just turn your sorcerer into a spawn.
Yeah, so you basically wait till he's like deadeth.
Yeah, so that's one of the what I like to think of as the really narrative stratagems. So the demons have got that one about if your unit gets killed by Grey Knights, you can just bring the unit back because it's meant to be the incursion, because that's why there are Grey Knights there. The Cadians have, well, the Guard have the Cadian one of like screw over chaos because they destroyed Cadia.
The relic.
No, a stratagem. There's a stratagem as well that they can do that's like gives them bonuses or rerolls, but it's only against chaos targets for the turn.
Yeah, the Space Marines are run against Traitor Chaos.
Chaos have one against Marines.
Yeah, and so on. But one of these
Yeah.
brilliant little ones is the fact that the Thousand Sons have the flesh change represented as a stratagem.
One stratagem and a spawn.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my sorcerer's nearly dead. Spawned them. Now you've got that to deal with.
But I'm sure there's something within the book as well about spawns. Like, there's something been mentioned almost rather cryptically that spawns are now useful within the Zinch one. I don't
They
know
might
what
not just be normal spawns because they've been turned from sorcerers, you know what I mean? They might be...
Psychic spawns. Who knows?
But, I like the Rubric Marines. I've always liked Rubric Marines. I like the Inferno Bolters. Strength 4 AP2 Bolters.
Which now are AP -2, yeah.
Sorry, AP -2. Obviously we can't just list the rules, but it was just insane.
They've got Warp Gargoyles is a stratagem they can use now on their vehicles. So any
Where they just release Warp Flame.
yeah, it's brilliant. Which used to be a really old upgrade, a vehicle upgrade from long ago if you had Marcus Inch on your vehicle.
Friend offer.
Yes, now it's when you activate it. It's as long as it's not a Hellbrute or a Defiler. No, I think it's as long as it's not a Hellbrute or a Helldrake.
You can do it on tanks, basically.
You can do it on tanks, but you can also do it on the other demonic engines. You can do it on the Mauler Fiends. You can do it on the Defiler. It's just the Helldrake and the Hellbrute that can't do it. I think it's just one command point, and every enemy unit within I think it's every non-Zinch unit.
That might be non-Zinch,
I think it's every non-Zinch unit within 3 inches of the vehicle gets smited, basically.
Yeah, D3 mortal wounds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's cool.
breathing warp fire on stuff, warp flame.
They've pushed really heavily for Zangars as well.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting they brought a bunch of things across from the Age of Sigmar range, where, yes, we've had Zangars since the Wrath of Magnus expansion in 7th Ed, but you've literally just had that Zangar unit, whereas now you've got the Zangars and Discs.
They actually seem really viable. Like, they've been doing something on the Warhammer community page where there's a guy talking you through some battlefield tactics, and he seems to point at Zangars as they're really good as like they're now a screening unit that can do something.
Yes,
because
they actually have a little capacity to do stuff.
Yeah, because with like the new Enlightened on discs, they can be quite useful as well, because they have a spear which when they charge makes them something like strength 5, AP -2, damage D3 on the charge. Or you have the bows, which I know have quite good AP as well. Can't remember.
I think the bows are strength 5, AP -1, but damage 2.
The bow?
Yes, they've got a great bow.
Bows.
So cheap bow and arrow. But it's kind of explained a little bit because basically it's magical.
Yeah,
it's a warp weapon. You know, in the same way that like, you know, technically I use like swords and daggers and stuff in my demons.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I get it's a sword, but it's like it's an eldritch flaming warp sword sort of thing. Well, this is just kind of like that's the form in which this ranged warp attack is taking. It's a guy with a bow.
So it's not just that all games Workshop wants to move a fantasy product over to 40k without having to do any additional work to the kit.
Not at all.
No, Brett, how dare you insinuate such
I never insinuated it, I was just...
said it outright. But
however, I do like the aura rule that they give to Zangar units is pretty cool, where as long as they're in like the 9 inches, they'll see all the auras like 9 inch.
because it's inch.
Yeah.
Which upsets me as a Slanesh player.
But that tends to mean that the auras are a little less toned down than normal because they've got a wider effect. But anyway.
Why? What's...
Well, what this
Slanesh
was...
sacred number?
6.
So we get no boosts.
Like the Zangar aura is any rolls of a 6 to hit automatically wound.
Yeah.
You don't need to make
You
your
just
roll.
go straight through toughness.
But the Zangars are an example I'm seeing now all over 40k. Is every army is very much getting its dedicated screening units.
Yeah.
Now some armies, like Guard, who always had conscripts.
Yeah.
You have Orcs who always had Gretchen. You know, sort of big units that typically always had the role. But they're bringing them into armies that didn't traditionally have them. Look at Poxwalkers getting added to Death Guard.
Well, yeah.
Look at Zangars being added to Thousand Sons.
Yeah, but we're trying to make them useful as well, not just here's my unit to die.
Cultists being useful in your vanilla Chaos Forces. Now, whereas
so.
Cultists were a unit choice in 7th Ed, they never really did anything, were never taken.
Still don't think they do that much.
But they behave as a screen now. They're a screening unit.
Yeah, but this is what I mean with exception to the rule in the sense of a screening unit that you put there to die.
Also, that's the duty of a screen.
Yep.
It
If
is,
you get any production out of a screen, it's doing... Yeah.
It is, but what I mean is the Zangars of a screen that can do work as well.
I'm seeing it all over the place now with a lot of armies. I reckon Gretchen will get a bit more love for actually being used as a screening unit.
Gretchen are the epitome of a screen.
But I think they're going to get some extra little bonus or rule or stratagem or something.
I think units of Orcs behind them will count as being in cover.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd invest heavily in Gretchen.
You get the idea. And it's interesting to see such a traditionally elitist force, such as the Thousand Sons, now getting a very dedicated screen unit. Yeah, you're right, they're going to have some utility as a screening unit, more so than normal.
Yeah.
Like Zangars are going to do more than Poxwalkers, but
Yeah.
Poxwalkers are a little harder to shift than the
Yeah.
Zangars.
I do think you can still keep with the elitist theme though. Like the idea, I personally love the idea of running 10 warp flamers on you. It's with 10 D6 automatic hits with AP -2 weapons.
I think Thousand Sons are an army that would make a brilliant project piece.
Yeah, I have toyed with it.
It's like, look at how lovely and wonderful and gorgeous. What is that? I love the Scarab.
The models are beautiful. Like they're just
Yeah, part of the whole appeal where I'd love to do as a Thousand Son army would be the look and painting of it. Like, you know, ooh, look at these Thousand.
To be fair, that would be the only Chaos army I'd ever do.
Thousand Sons.
Yeah, because they don't like Chaos.
No, not really.
No, because they're not spiky. They haven't got the classic spikiness. But no, they look beautiful. But if I was going to do them, I would run like the elite force. I think I wouldn't run the Zangors. If I did it, it'd be minimal Zangors.
You need to. That's the thing. You need them as screening units.
Mm. Yeah, but I'd take just Zangors as screens. I wouldn't bother with
Well, yeah. So that's the new
Sorry.
upcoming Chaos Force, or the new Thousand Suns. But the big news of the last month was the upcoming release schedule. It was the other week at the LVO that they announced the next 3 codexes. Now, we don't have an actual release order or schedule for them yet, but it's happening. We're finally getting the long-anticipated wave of Xenos codexes.
Ooh.
They have announced that the next 3 codexes are going to be Necrons, Tau, and Drukhari.
Which technically should excite all 3 of us. You
Technically,
being a Necron
How many
player,
thoughts about Necrons?
Brett being a Tau player, and
Me? No.
me having a Drukhari army.
Mm.
I'm really not excited for it. I don't know if it's because I'm into the project of Breeze at the minute, but
Into Emperor's Children.
yeah, but I'm just not excited by it.
I'm looking forward to my next.
You just complain about not getting any codex.
I know.
And they give you
I
one.
feel really ungrateful. It's like I've sat here and said I want a codex for one of my armies, and they're giving me one, and I don't really want it.
Yeah, but that's just because it's not orcs.
Yeah, it is.
Practically everything else. So yeah, Dark Eldar. It'll be great to see them get an update. See if they get some nice, good stuff to work in the with a codex in the new edition. Be interesting to see what they do with Power from Pain, if anything.
I think they'll leave it. It works pretty well anyway. Health and pain isn't an issue for them.
I have this weird, horrible feeling they might take the homunculi covens out of the book and have them be their own book. Because I don't think they need to do that at all, but I would not be surprised if they did that. Because if then you end up with what Craftworld, Drukhari, Ynnari, Harlequins, homunculus covens. Like you ended up with your near imperial range of Eldar then.
Yeah, but that'd be so unnecessary.
Like I can't see them ever splitting down the witches and the cabals into separate ones.
No, when we fluff up everything up for them eventually, it's
They're quite integrated.
yeah, very integrated. But I know what you mean. The commons are supposed to act quite unilaterally.
Now we've already been shown a new Cryptek model which looks amazing.
Oh
A
yeah,
flying floating
Yeah, it
Cryptek
looks cool.
with his big canoptic scarab like supporting him. Which says to me that of these 3 codexes, it feels like Necrons therefore are going to be the ones that actually get a little bit of a model release with it.
what it says to me is the next.
Yes, I think they're going to be the next of the 3.
Why teaser trailer one that you're gonna have to wait 3 months for?
Get you all excited.
No.
But what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is that I reckon the Dark Eldar and the Tau are going to be the yep. Here's your codex. Have fun.
Yeah, I'd never really expected them to give Dark Eldar a new model release. They had one not too long ago in 7th. Yeah, I can see Necrons being it. They've put so much effort into their backstory, it feels like they should have a bit of a model release.
I'm looking forward to it. But Tau and Dark Eldar feel like the ones that are just going to be the here's your new book. Here's have fun.
I'm sure there'll be some very interesting things. I can see they're going to do with Dark Eldar. I'd imagine loads of leadership trickery.
Yeah, lots of morale effects.
I mean, they already have it in a sense in the index with a Phantasm grenade launcher.
I'm hoping they get turn the Crucible of Malediction into a stratagem.
Yeah, because at the minute it's a bit pill.
So a bit like the Black Temple one, where it's like here's a stratagem you could just use to mess with Psychers.
Yeah.
You don't need to have Psychers. You don't need to have a relic or anything like that. You've just got a stratagem. I'd love to see the Crucible of Malediction be a stratagem that just does that.
The issue is with stratagems, you can still only use it once a turn.
Yeah. But
Yeah, Dark Eldar aren't meant to be like, oh my god, let's stop every psychic power ever. They're like, yeah, we just come with a bit of defence.
we've got this relic in a box that particularly enjoys messing with the minds of Psychers. You know full well they're going to get the Web Wave Strike stratagem. Even the Thousand Sons have the Web Wave Strike stratagem now because they have some slight fluff reasoning when Araman's been digging his way through it.
Yeah.
So, the Dark Eldar, the Ynnari, and the Harlequins, I all see getting the Web Wave stratagem. Me and Brett both reckon, and I've already called, that we reckon the Tau Hammerhead is going to get the Leon Rush treatment.
They fire twice.
Yeah, fire twice with
Do you
staff
reckon?
rate. I think so. Fire Prism, Lehman Russ, Hammerhead. I reckon it's all the mainstay battle tanks, the big turrets. I reckon that's what it's going to be.
Makes sense.
I'm fully expecting the Hammerheads to get the Lehman Rush treatment, which will be good because they need it, to be relevant. I'd like to see what they do with the Sky Rays.
Yeah.
I think Sky Rays might get the Manticore treatment, where it's like, these are suddenly awesome in this edition.
Here's a question, then. We've announced the next 3 as Xenos.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we're safe in the assumption that the next wave after that will then be going back to Imperial?
Imperial or Chaos. That might be when you see your next Chaosy thing. We need 3 months down the line. We'll be looking at another Primarch, I reckon.
Do you reckon?
Mortarian's come and gone. He's done his piece now. He was 2017. 3 months from now, you're looking at being in what?
Midway through
the year. Yeah. I reckon that'll be when they'll start teasing the next Primarch, and he'll come out in the summer. And it's either going to be Fulgrim with a Sneshi release, or it's going to be...
It's going to be a loyalist one. So we've got 2 for 2.
I don't think so. I agree with Brett. I reckon they're actually just going to go, here's the mass chaos threat before they bring back anything else. Gullman's too busy doing his thing, being I'm in charge. Magnus and Mortarion are just roaming around doing their own thing. Add in another Chaos Sprout, doesn't matter, roaming around doing his own thing. Start bringing back Johnson or someone, and then you're contesting Regency of the Imperium.
I suppose so.
But we happen to have a whole podcast about that.
Yeah.
We've already discussed all our ideas on whether or not we should have any more Primarchs, so go check that out now if you haven't already. And then one final closing thought. It was only announced the other day. There's a new bounty hunter model that's going to be coming for the Necromunda range. So they've done a couple already, like there's the Beastman. There's one of the bounty hunters.
What about Eisenhorn?
Yes, actually. Yeah, so...
Frickin' Eisenhorn!
Yeah, to celebrate some anniversary of Black Library, I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, I'm getting Eisenhorn.
Yeah, Eisenhorn, one of my favourite books of all time. Can't believe they're actually getting a character. One of our other friends, Matt.
A nice little Inquisitor model.
Oh yeah, like he's insanely up for it. He's like, I need to get this model. When is it released?
Yeah, Eisenhorn all over the place.
Yeah, like he's great. I just felt like we don't need to go into detail about him, but like he needs to be mentioned. Like frickin' Eisenhorn.
Yeah, he said. I think it did mention he's going to come with his own data sheet as well.
Oh yeah. You're going to be able to use Eisenhorn. I hope he can summon a demon.
Summon a demon host.
Just a demon.
So there's Eisenhorn, which is awesome, and it is brilliant. How the model is posed on like the very famous artwork of Eisenhorn.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
He
is the front cover.
He is a very cool model. If I had a use for an Inquisitor, I'd be tempted to get him. But
Get him anyway.
no, because then I start going down a slippery slope of buying a whole load of models just because I want them. And I don't need that. Those would be project pieces. Game models for sick game models.
You all know I love Inquisitors, so I know of Eisenhorn, so I'm gonna get.
If I were to do that, I would have already bought a Primaris Librarian just to convert into a Dark Angels captain.
Oh.
If I was going to start buying models for the sake of them because I like them. But yeah, so there's Eisenhorn. But no, the other interesting little piece they announced was there's going to be a new bounty hunter model for Necromunda. It's going to be a squat.
Oh yeah, I've seen the teaser there.
So they're actually putting a little bit of lore and attention to the squats. He's only coming back. He's coming back as one single squat.
Yeah.
Here is a bounty hunter for Necromunda, and that's what he is. That's the alien race he's from. He is a squat. So it'd be interesting just to see how.
Because there's a Beastman, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a Beastman bounty hunter. I think there's an abhuman. There's like not quite an ogring, but there's like a big.
He's supposed to be
big
a gene enhanced human, isn't he?
Yeah, basically like a marine who isn't a marine.
Yeah.
So he's an ogre.
No, not an ogre, not that sort of size. More like a space marine, not in his armour.
Yeah. But without all the training.
And then a squat. They're bringing back a squat.
That's cool.
Just the one for now. But it was funny.
They're not going to bring back all squats.
But it's fun to think. It's fun to think, Kyle. We can dream.
We can dream.
That's a
Sad face.
that's a range of the new releases and updates and announcements. So there's plenty to look forward to. We're particularly excited, all three of us, for the next 3 Xenos Codexes. So this has been episode 7 of the Vox Chatter Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us again and listening to the show. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to give it a like or help spread the word and share it with your friends and local hobby group. It really does help support the show. Always be sure to leave your comments below and let us know your thoughts on collecting armies as projects or anything else we've discussed tonight.
Ask questions. We'd like to be able to answer your questions.
You can always make suggestions for future topics as well, and be sure to include any you've got. As always, we're looking for great ideas to discuss on the show. Leave us some comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss an episode, and you can also follow me on Twitter @Countillery for hobby news and daily shenanigans. So thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you next time.
See you later.
See you later.